For 9 seasons, The King of Queens felt like home. Familiar faces, everyday laughter, a family we thought would last forever. But when the spotlight dimmed, reality hit harder than any punchline. Some of its most beloved stars left this world far too soon, one after a sudden illness, another after years of silent suffering. What happened to these beloved actors will shatter the way you see this sitcom forever. Meara, as Veronica Olchin. Meara was born on September 20th, 1929, in Brooklyn, New York. At 69, she joined The King of Queens, 1998, as Veronica Olchin, the sharp-tongued yet warm-hearted mother who could cut through tension with a single look. Her performance carried the ease of someone who had lived every emotion she played: humor, defiance, tenderness, and pain. From the beginning, Anne's life was shaped by contrasts. She was fiery, yet sensitive, confident on stage but deeply uncertain in private. When she met Jerry Stiller, the chemistry was instant. Together, they built one of America's most beloved comedy acts. Their quick banter and cultural differences became the soul of their humor. However, depression followed her through much of her life, and during the early years of fame, she turned to alcohol to keep the noise inside at bay. Still, she refused to let despair win. Her talent shone in television and film, from Archie Bunker's Place to Awakenings, earning her respect as a performer with emotional honesty. Returning to The King of Queens gave her one last moment to remind the world who she was. She died on May 23, 2015, at 85, leaving behind her husband, 2 children, and a $12 million legacy. Jerry Stiller as Arthur Spooner. Jerry Stiller was born on June 8, 1927, in Brooklyn, New York. At 71, he joined The King of Queens, 1998, as Arthur Spooner, the eccentric, hot-tempered father-in-law who brought unpredictable chaos to the sitcom. With his booming voice and lightning timing, he turned every scene into comedy gold and became the show's secret weapon. However, success faded, and Jerry spent years scraping for roles, nearly giving up before Seinfeld cast him as Frank Costanza. The role reignited his career, earning him an Emmy nomination and proving that his explosive humor was timeless. Off-screen, his life was tender, but marked by loss. He and Anne were married for more than 60 years, raising 2 children, Ben and Amy, while surviving the highs and lows of show business. They teamed up with his wife, Meara, to form the legendary duo Stiller and Meara. When Anne passed away in 2015, Jerry's world fell quiet. Age and illness slowed him down, but the performer in him never disappeared. On May 11, 2020, Jerry Stiller died at 92 of natural causes, leaving behind a legacy worth $14 million and a career spanning over 6 decades. Doris Roberts as Marie Barone. Doris Roberts was born on November 4, 1925, in St. Louis, Missouri, and grew up in New York. At 73, she became Marie Barone in Everybody Loves Raymond, 1996 to 2005, the overbearing yet endearing matriarch who ruled her family with guilt, sarcasm, and an unshakable sense of love. With that mix of tenderness and tyranny, Doris turned a sitcom mother into one of television's most unforgettable characters. Her journey there was hard-won. The industry tried to confine her to mother roles, but she made every one of them feel different, sharp, smart, and deeply human. Everybody Loves. Raymond finally gave her the recognition she deserved, earning 4 Emmy wins and 7 nominations. Behind her success lay private pain. Her first marriage to Michael Kanata ended in betrayal. Her second, to writer William Goyen, ended with his sudden death in 1983. She never remarried, channeling her grief into work and family, especially her beloved son, Michael. In her later years, she spoke openly about age discrimination in Hollywood, fighting for respect for older women on screen. Doris Roberts passed away on April 17, 2016, at age 90 from a stroke. Her estimated $14 million legacy was built on grit. Florence Henderson as Lily. Florence Henderson was born on February 14, 1934, in Dale, Indiana, the youngest of 10 children in a poor farming family. At 66, she appeared as Lily in The King of Queens, 2000, bringing the same warmth and humor that made her a television legend. Her guest role was short, but her presence reminded everyone why she was America's favorite TV mom. Her path to fame was anything but easy. By age 12, she was singing in grocery stores to help her mother support the family. After high school, she moved to New York to study at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, determined to escape poverty through performance. Her early years were spent on Broadway, in hits like Oklahoma and Fanny, earning her critical acclaim. Television immortalized her as Carol Brady in The Brady Bunch, 1969 to 1974, the smiling matriarch who became a cultural icon. Yet behind that image of perfection was a woman carrying deep exhaustion and loneliness. Her first marriage to Ira Bernstein collapsed under the strain of distance and work, leaving her to balance motherhood with relentless schedules. Her second marriage to Dr. John Kappas brought peace, but ended with his death in 2002, another heartbreak she faced quietly. On November 24, 2016, Florence Henderson died of heart failure at 82, just days after attending a live taping of Dancing with the Stars. Her net worth was $10 million. Peter Boyle as Frank Barone. Peter Boyle was born on October 18, 1935, in Norristown, Pennsylvania, the son of a TV personality and a devout Catholic mother. At 63, he joined Everybody Loves Raymond, 1998, as Frank Barone, the gruff, sardonic patriarch whose blunt honesty and deadpan wit made audiences roar. His chemistry with Doris Roberts turned ordinary family dinners into legendary comic duels. Boyle's life, however, carried a darker weight. He once trained to be a monk, but disillusionment drove him from the monastery and into acting. Success came with turbulence. His early fame from Joe, 1970, branded him as Hollywood's angry man, a label he spent years trying to escape. His career evolved through iconic roles: Young Frankenstein, Taxi Driver, and later his Emmy-nominated run on Everybody Loves Raymond. Yet behind that commanding voice was a man who had faced stroke, heart attacks, and the slow erosion of health that comes from decades of fighting both the body and the business. He found solace in family. His marriage to journalist Lorraine Alterman in 1977 grounded him after years of loneliness, and their 2 daughters, Lucy and Amy, gave his later life purpose. Still, illness never stopped pursuing him. A blood clot in 1990 silenced his speech for months, and on the Raymond set in 1999 he suffered a heart attack, but returned to work within weeks. In 2006, complications from multiple myeloma and heart disease ended his life at 71. His net worth, $8 million, reflected decades of persistence through pain. Charlotte Rae as Betty. Charlotte Rae was born on April 22, 1926, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. At 79, she appeared as Betty in The King of Queens, 2005, charming audiences with her sharp timing and familiar warmth. For decades, her face had been a comfort, kind, wise, and unmistakably human. Her life, though, was marked by struggle. She built her career on the stage and in early television, working tirelessly through small roles until Different Strokes introduced her as Edna Garrett, the nurturing house mother who later became the heart of The Facts of Life. That role made her a television icon and earned her Emmy and Tony nominations, but fame could not shield her from personal pain. Her marriage to composer John Strauss collapsed after he revealed he was gay, leaving her to raise their 2 sons alone. One child battled autism and epilepsy, the other died of cancer, a loss that reshaped her life forever. After surviving pancreatic cancer in 2009, Charlotte Rae faced bone cancer in 2017, but refused to retreat from the public eye. She passed away on August 5, 2018, at the age of 92. Her net worth was $4 million. Gavin MacLeod as Uncle Stu. Gavin MacLeod was born on February 28, 1931, in Mount Kisco, New York, the son of a school dropout mother and an Ojibwe father who worked as an electrician. At 70, he appeared as Uncle Stu in The King of Queens, 2001, bringing warmth, charm, and decades of television experience to the guest role. Even briefly, his performance reminded audiences of the charisma that made him a household name. MacLeod's career spanned 6 decades, from early appearances on Death Valley Days and Peter Gunn to iconic television roles on The Mary Tyler Moore Show and The Love Boat. His portrayal of Captain Merrill Stobing on The Love Boat became globally recognized, earning 3 Golden Globe nominations, while Murray Slaughter on The Mary Tyler Moore Show secured his place in television history. Alongside his acting, his personal life was complex. He endured 3 marriages, 2 ending in divorce amid struggles with alcohol and depression, and faced periods of isolation after losing friends in the entertainment industry. These challenges shaped a man who found solace in his family and faith. MacLeod continued to work late into his life, appearing in guest roles, stage performances, and even faith-based television programs. He authored a memoir and remained active with charities and church initiatives. Gavin MacLeod passed away on May 29, 2021, at 90, after surgery and age-related health issues. His net worth, approximately $10 million, reflected a career of enduring impact. Shelley Berman as Skitch. Shelley Berman was born on February 3, 1925, in Chicago, Illinois, into a Jewish family with strong values and a love for learning. At 78, he appeared as Skitch in The King of Queens, 2003, delivering his trademark observational comedy with subtle timing and understated wit. Even in a guest role, Berman's presence commanded the room. Long before, he built a career from the ground up, training at the Goodman School of Drama and performing in stock companies before developing his groundbreaking solo comedy style. His act, often using an imaginary telephone, earned him 3 gold records and the first Grammy Award for a spoken comedy album in 1959. Berman also taught humor writing at USC for over 20 years, mentoring new generations while continuing to appear on stage, in film, and on television, including Curb Your Enthusiasm. Berman's personal life was marked by both devotion and loss. He married Sarah Herman in 1947, a partnership that lasted until his death, and they raised 2 children together. Tragedy struck when his son Joshua died of a brain tumor at age 12, an event that cast a long shadow over his family. Later, Berman battled Alzheimer's disease, which gradually isolated him from the world he had entertained for so long. Despite these hardships, Berman remained committed to his craft, appearing in film and TV well into his 80s. He navigated the ups and downs of fame with honesty and intelligence, influencing countless comedians who followed. Shelley Berman passed away on September 1, 2017, at the age of 92, after a struggle with Alzheimer's and other health issues. His net worth, around $2 million, reflected a lifetime of dedication to comedy and performance. Kirstie Alley as herself. Kirstie Louise Alley was born on January 12, 1951, in Wichita, Kansas. When she appeared as a guest on The King of Queens in 2006, she was 55 years old and already one of television's most recognizable faces. Her self-referential role in the show reflected her willingness to laugh at herself. Alley's life was a constant struggle between glamour and pain. The sudden death of her mother in a car accident left her emotionally scarred, and in her youth, she turned to cocaine to numb the grief. Her battles with addiction and weight would follow her for decades, even as she reached the top of Hollywood. After finding fame as Rebecca Howe on Cheers, a role that earned her an Emmy and a Golden Globe, She became a household name with Look Who's Talking, playing the witty single mother opposite John Travolta. But behind the laughter were two failed marriages, first to her high school sweetheart Bob Alley, and later to actor Parker Stevenson. Infidelity, miscarriages, and the painful process of adoption marked those years. In the 2000s, Alley turned her struggles into self-parody, starring in Fat Actress and joining Dancing with the Stars, reclaiming her narrative with humor and defiance. Yet her devotion to Scientology and outspoken political opinions often made her a target of criticism, isolating her from former colleagues and the Hollywood elite she once ruled. By 2022, she had quietly been diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. Surrounded by her children at a Florida hospital, she died on December 5th at 71. Her estimated net worth of $40 million reflected a lifetime of stardom and resilience. Joe Flaherty as Father McDaniel. Joe Flaherty was born on June 21, 1941 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. When he appeared as Father McDaniel in The King of Queens in 2001, at age 60, his signature dry humor and impeccable timing made the character instantly memorable. Though only a guest role, his presence carried the same sharp wit that had defined him since SCTV and Freaks and Geeks. Flaherty's story began far from Hollywood glamour. The eldest of 7 children, he served 4 years in the U.S. Air Force before finding his calling in comedy at Chicago's Second City Theater. There, he worked alongside future legends like John Belushi and Harold Ramis, later helping to build Toronto's Second City troupe and co-creating SCTV, the show that earned him 2 Emmy Awards and a lifetime cult following. His iconic characters, from the scheming Guy Caballero to the bizarre Count Floyd, became touchstones of sketch comedy history. But life off stage was far less kind. After SCTV ended, Flaherty faced years of financial uncertainty and a painful divorce from his wife Judith Dagley, leaving him emotionally isolated. He watched many of his close friends and collaborators die young, while he quietly continued teaching and performing, devoted to comedy until the end. At Humber College in Toronto, he became a mentor to countless young writers, shaping the next generation of humorists even as his own fame faded. Joe Flaherty passed away on April 1, 2024, at the age of 82 after a short illness. His estimated net worth of $2 million came not from luxury, but from a lifetime of laughter, teaching, and dedication. William Hurt as Dr. Tabor. William McCord. Hurt was born on March 20, 1950, in Washington, D.C., into a family of diplomats and intellectuals. When he appeared as Dr. Tabor on The King of Queens in 2002 at 52, his quiet authority and emotional depth were instantly recognizable. He was already an Oscar winner. Hurt's path to fame began after his studies at Tufts University and the Juilliard School, where his stage discipline shaped the introspective style that defined him. His early work in Altered States and Body Heat revealed a mind that fused intensity with intellect. In 1985, his portrayal of a gay prisoner in Kiss of the Spider-Woman earned him an Academy Award, followed by more nominations for Children of a Lesser God and Broadcast News. Critics called him the philosopher of American cinema. His personal life was also far darker. 4 marriages and several affairs left behind emotional wreckage. Actress Marlee Matlin later accused him of abuse during their relationship, while others described his temper and substance use as destructive. Hurt himself admitted years later to long battles with alcohol and guilt, struggles that distanced him from his children and co-stars alike. In 2018, Hurt was diagnosed with advanced prostate cancer. He spent his last years in quiet reflection at his Portland home, speaking rarely, still writing and reading philosophy. On March 13, 2022, 1 week before his 72nd birthday, William Hurt passed away, leaving behind 4 children and an estimated fortune of $30 million. Eddie Money as himself. Eddie Money was born Edward Joseph Mahoney on March 21, 1949, in Brooklyn, New York, into a family of Irish-American police officers. By the time he appeared as himself in The King of Queens in 2002, at 53, he was already a rock legend whose voice had once filled stadiums. With his raspy charm and working-class humor, the cameo captured exactly who he was. Money's journey was equal parts triumph and tragedy. After leaving the New York Police Department to pursue music, he moved to California and reinvented himself as Eddie Money, the broke dreamer who joked he had no money, only a name. His debut hits, Baby Hold On, 2 Tickets to Paradise, and Take Me Home Tonight, turned him into one of the defining rock voices of the late 1970s and 1980s. But fame came with a cost. Addicted to cocaine and alcohol, he nearly died in 1980 after mistaking a barbiturate for cocaine, leaving him with a permanent limp and lifelong pain. Off-screen, he married Lori Money in 1989, raising 5 children while fighting bankruptcy and addiction. In his later years, he found renewed popularity through Real Money, a reality series about his family, showing him as a flawed but fiercely loving father trying to make peace with his past. In 2019, while battling pneumonia after heart surgery, doctors discovered stage 4 esophageal cancer. He passed away on September 13, 2019, at age 70, surrounded by family. His estate, valued at roughly $20 million, reflected decades of relentless touring and songwriting. Peter Scolari as Ron. Peter Scolari was born on September 12, 1955, in New Rochelle, New York. At 47, he appeared in The King of Queens, 2002, as Ron, a charming yet neurotic character who showcased the quick wit and warmth that made him one of television's most underrated talents. Behind that effortless smile, however, was a man who had spent decades wrestling with insecurity, addiction, and heartbreak. Scolari's early life was turbulent. Raised in a home marked by alcoholism and emotional volatility, he found refuge in theater. His big break came in 1980, starring alongside Tom Hanks in Bosom Buddies, where their comedic chemistry became legend. The series was short-lived, but it opened doors to a steady career. He earned 3 Emmy nominations for Newhart, and finally won one in 2016 for his moving role as Tad Horvath in HBO's Girls. His personal life was also equally complex. Scolari married 4 times, each relationship marked by affection, but strained by his workaholic drive and battles with bipolar disorder and alcoholism. He spoke openly about his years of recovery, turning pain into empathy for others struggling with similar demons. His later work in Evil, Gotham, and on Broadway in Lucky Guy proved that his depth as an actor only grew with age. In 2021, after a private 2-year battle with leukemia, Peter Scolari died in Manhattan at the age of 66. His fortune, estimated at $2 million, barely reflected the richness of his artistry or the respect he earned from colleagues. Harold Gould as Irv Glassman. Harold Gould was born on December 10, 1923, in Schenectady, New York. At 77, he appeared as Irv Glassman in The King of Queens, 2000, embodying the charming, old-fashioned warmth that had defined his entire career. With his dignified demeanor and gentle humor, Gould transformed even a short guest role into something heartfelt and memorable. Gould's path to fame was anything but ordinary. After serving in the U.S. Army during World War II, he returned home and earned a Ph.D. in drama from Cornell University. For years, he worked as a professor before deciding, at nearly 40, to risk everything and pursue acting full-time. His refined voice and scholarly presence often led to him being typecast as intellectuals, doctors, and grandfathers. Off-screen, he married actress Leah Remini in 1950, and despite the pressures of the industry, their union endured 6 decades and produced 3 children. Gould's career, meanwhile, soared with roles in Rhoda and The Golden Girls, earning 5 Emmy nominations and cementing his reputation as one of television's most respected character actors. In his later years, Gould faced health struggles, including prostate cancer, which eventually took his life on September 11, 2010, at age 86. His estimated net worth of $1 million reflected a lifetime of steady, honest work, rather than extravagance. Leah Remini as Carrie Heffernan. Leah Remini was born on June 15, 1970, in Brooklyn, New York. At 28, she became the fierce, funny, and unforgettable Carrie Heffernan on The King of Queens, the sharp-tongued wife who could bring Doug to his knees with a single glare. The show turned her into a household name, earning her fame, fortune. Yet behind the laughter, Leah's life was marked by pain. Abandoned by her father at 13, she grew up fighting for survival long before Hollywood came calling. Her escape from Scientology in 2013 became one of the bravest acts in entertainment. But it came with a devastating cost: harassment, isolation, and the loss of nearly every friend she'd ever known inside the church. Her marriage to actor Angelo Pagan, though loving, faced its share of storms. Jealousy, therapy, and financial struggles nearly tore them apart. Still, the couple stayed together, raising Sophia while rebuilding their lives away from Scientology's shadow. Now, at 55, Leah Remini stands as one of Hollywood's most outspoken survivors. With an estimated net worth of $25 million and a new sense of peace, she's channeling her pain into advocacy and production work. A woman who lost almost everything, yet found her voice stronger than ever. Kevin James as Doug Heffernan. Kevin James was born on April 26, 1965, in Mineola, New York. At just 33 years old, he became the face of The King of Queens in 1998, playing the lovable delivery man Doug Heffernan, a role that turned him into one of the most recognizable sitcom stars of his generation. His natural humor and working-class charm made the show a 9-season success and earned him an Emmy nomination in 2006. Before fame, James had been grinding his way through Long Island comedy clubs, performing under his real name, Kevin Nipfing. A chance friendship with Ray Romano changed everything. His guest appearances on Everybody Loves Raymond led CBS to build a series around him, and suddenly, the boy who once dreamed of being a football player became a comedy icon. But success came with shadows. Kevin struggled for years with weight issues and fatigue from overwork, facing cruel tabloid headlines and online ridicule. He admitted that constant filming and pressure from Hollywood left him emotionally drained. Despite criticism from box office flops like Grown Ups 2 and Zookeeper, James found stability in family. He married model Stefiana de la Cruz in 2004, and together they raised 4 children. Their marriage survived rumors of separation, with both emphasizing faith and privacy as their foundation. Now, in 2025, Kevin James is 60 years old and remains active in comedy, releasing new specials such as Irregardless and starring in films like Home Team. With an estimated net worth of $100 million, he continues to balance faith, family, and laughter. They made us laugh, cry, and feel like part of their world, and even in death, their legacy lives on through every rerun, every punchline, every heartfelt moment. Which of these King of Queens stars do you miss the most? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more untold Hollywood stories.